Competition season is where many of the hours of hard work and preparation are finally performed to an audience. However, the hard work is not nearly over once the competition season begins. Just as music and drill were learned during the summer, the closing music and drill is written and learned during the fall. With school now in session, the long summer 8-hour practice days are no longer an option. Shorter rehearsals change their focus from learning new parts of the show to becoming more precise and fixing small details.
You have to hit the left to right? The left to right is the priority. If you can just get really close to your front to back, you'll recover on the next set or two.
They now practice 2 or 3 nights a week and work very hard to finish up the rest of the routine.
Once we get to the fall, we spend a lot more time together because in the fall it's more big picture things. It's tempo control, it's making those subtle changes, it's working on those things as an ensemble that we're going to need to really perform at a high level. As much as we need that time apart at the beginning, because like I said, we're each learning our individual parts, just as much we need that time together once we get to the fall, because every time we perform, it's everybody. And the last thing we want is to get to a contest and not feel comfortable with what's happening between the different sections of the band.
The drumline also meets during school every day, where they practice and get even more things accomplished.
Third hour is like our percussion class, and at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of school, we start off and we drum every day for 50 minutes. And we move on to other stuff where we start playing music. Brett starts incorporating different exercises into the music.
It's really just extra practice time for us, really. We just work on things that we need to work on to prepare for upcoming competitions. Competitions begin in September and are taken very seriously.
Competition season, it's rough.
We have basically a season of like a month or two of competitions almost every weekend.
They usually take place on Saturdays, and the drumline likes to kick off a competition day with a nice breakfast.
If they're close, we have a call at 9 o'clock, but we have a tradition to go out to breakfast. Take it to Mr. A's around 7:30. We all get breakfast. Some kids get bacon double cheeseburgers, whatever, and a Coke, whatever they like. I like the chocolate milk. Not important. It is really good though.
Chocolate milk's my favorite!
So then we go to school. We're usually there pretty early, which is surprising for the Knightline, but we're usually all there pretty early, and we circle the cars up, play some football, play some frisbee, whatever, until we have to be doing something.
Mr. Bartley came in and started playing with us.
He played with us a couple times. He was cool.
When they finish up their morning get-together, it becomes time to get down to business.
Because time is such a premium and every minute is very important to us when we're rehearsing throughout the season, it's very important to make sure that they're adhering to this and that we also have promptness throughout the group so that every group member is there early to make sure they hang on their instrument and are ready to drum right at the time that rehearsal starts. It usually takes a good 10 to 15 minutes just to get your gear out, cleaned, fixed, whatever you need to do, and get ready for rehearsal. So I always ask the students who are here 15 minutes before rehearsal just to make sure that those things are prepared and we can have a very good start to rehearsal.
The band competes locally in many competitions, and they follow a similar practice schedule for each one.
The competition isn't till like late afternoon/night, but we get there really early in the morning to practice all day for the competition.
When we do competitions, there are certain things that need to get done. We usually do a good 3-hour rehearsal on competition days. Sometimes we even try and squeeze in a 6 hours worth of rehearsal. So we want to make sure we touch all the problem spots of the show and then touch everything else once we get past that.
We just kind of go warm up, run through our charts, and then go with the band, and we just perform the show a bunch of times.
Then we get served lunch, we go on the buses, get on to wherever we're going.
Now, preparing for the actual competition itself, when we travel to a show site, we get off the bus, we get all the equipment out, cleaned up, tuned, looking nice, and we walk together to our warm-up site.
At a competition, the drumline and the band split up to warm up.
Now when we're warming up, we like to quickly brush through those technique things to make sure our minds are in the right spot. You're going to oftentimes see a drumline standing completely still, not doing anything between repetitions of exercises or music. This is in order to keep them focused and make sure that they are listening to instruction as it's coming at them. And then we take a little time to hit some of the more problem spots in the music to kind of reinforce those things.
We warm up kind of in a field most of the time, and there's a lot of other bands there, and it's really nice to see like just a crowd of people like watching you as the Knightline warm up because they know how good we are.
A lot of people want to come watch us, so you get a crowd of people that you don't even know who they are. I mean, football games are fun and all, but during competition season, you get people that respect you guys.
That makes you feel pretty badass, just having people look up to you as the prospect Knightline.
Usually all of this takes anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and as soon as we're done, then we go do the show and hopefully win us a competition.
Competitions generally use a 2-performance schedule. The band does a preliminary performance, and based on the outcome, may be entered to compete in finals.
There's 2 competitions, prelims and finals. Most of the time, we make finals.
It's a hype.
If you make finals, you get to play twice in a day. It's awesome.
Most of the time, we also win finals.
We do have a pretty good program, so we go in knowing that we could do well. And it's a good feeling when we smoke a show. And by the way, smoking is playing really well.
That's a really good feeling just because like we've worked so hard, like the summer and the school year and everything, and it's a good feeling to like see that pay off.
The band also travels far distances to compete as well. They usually have about 2 of these competitions every year. Generally, they will compete in a Bands of America competition with other great bands from across the country. However, the biggest contest of each year for Prospect is the University of Illinois State Competition. This is the biggest competition of the year for Prospect, and they have a strong desire to keep up their winning success at this contest. They have won the U of I competition for over 20 years consecutively.
Goes to Prospect!
The Knightline is fortunate enough to do very well in almost all of their competitions. They win numerous talent awards and end every season very satisfied, and they aren't afraid to express their excitement on the way home.
On the way back from competitions, regardless of whether or not we've won anything, actually, I don't know, buses, a lot of screaming, a lot of mayhem, a lot of just ruckus.
And we did win drums.
Scream. A lot of celebrating. A lot of
Going
taking
crazy.
off clothes and just kind of going crazy.
It's a lot of fun because it's like a release of energy. We basically scream the whole bus ride home, lose our voices doing that. It's not a really good idea, but it's a lot of fun.
We once got asked by our band director how old we are and why we were acting as children. Whatever. It's really fun. Like, I don't think they understand the hype that you get after coming home and like winning something. And just, you have to like let off that steam somehow. And the way we do is just by being crazy. So, I don't know, that's always a good time.
We also really like to have like a celebration cadence series after we compete and do really well in a competition. We sit around and we cadence our way out, and then after we're done, that's when we pack up and head home. They finish out the year strong and continue to build more and more great memories from this incredible program at Prospect. Their experiences during their years in the drumline will be some of the best in their lives, and it could not have been made possible if it wasn't for the amazing staff and privileged school program to help them get through it all.
So at Prospect, we are very fortunate to have a very long tradition of really outstanding percussion sections, both the pit and the drumline. So Brett Kuhn has been teaching here for at least 20 years or so, and since he came, we have had been known for having a particularly strong percussion section. So there have been many guys and girls that have gone through the program in the past to kind of build up that reputation, and really happy and proud to say that the current members are upholding that tradition. So we're really lucky, a really nice aspect of the band, and something that we're really fortunate to have around here.
We're very fortunate to have a very strong program. It's run very consistently year to year. We always have tons of talented kids, and it's always a great time. So no other school around here really has quite the opportunities that we do when it comes down to everything that goes on, rehearsing, the level of playing we get to, the amount of great equipment that we have here, rehearsal facilities. We're very fortunate here at Prospect. This is one of the best schools for this. So the group's great. Everything's a great time. I love it.